Afternoon. Okay, King MT2, Altra King MT2. I haven't done 50 miles in it, so I'm not going to give you a 50-mile review, but I'm going to give you my much more than first impressions, because first impressions were good. They, it's a good fit, great fit, like sticks to your foot amazingly, and the traction was awesome, as was the drainage. But unfortunately, to cut a long story short, the Ego midsole that they have in here, the 19mm of Ego midsole, it was just too firm. It was just too firm a ride. You know, when I'm rotating shoes between the Olympus and the Timp Superior 4.5, when this one comes on the foot, I just feel like I've got like a piece of wood under there. It's a bit harsh, but it's just a very responsive Ego midsole. It's only 19mm midsole there, but I find it way too hard, too unforgiving. So therefore, I'm not really enjoying that ride. Obviously, if it's just wet grass like this and just for a hill sprint, doesn't really matter too much. I wanted to really like this shoe. Unfortunately, just the midsole is just not right for me, which is also slightly worrying because I've got the Lone Peak 5s coming, which also have the Ego midsole. And now, if that Ego midsole is responsive like this, then it's going to be a bit of concern, because the Ego midsole that I know and remember really well is the first one, in the Escalante 1, 1.5. That Ego midsole was amazing. It's so bouncy and responsive and just but you know, comfortable as well. So I don't know if they played around with the sort of the material in here, but it was just a bit too firm for me. So hopefully the Altra Lone Peak 5s will be good. But if only they could somehow mix, well, obviously the two brands aren't going to mix, but the midsole in the Hoka Evo Jaws, which had an incredible grip and a really lovely, comfortable midsole, was great. But unfortunately, just way too tight and too small for me. The width and the tapering was just ridiculous. So if they could make a shoe with an awesome grip like that, with a really secure lockdown, but with a nice, slightly springier, more cushioned midsole, but still have that amazing traction and grip, then I think we're onto a winner, because it was nearly there, but I just don't really enjoy the ride in this one, which, yeah, is a bit annoying. Albeit a very quick summary, the Altra King MT2, not for me, and I don't know if many people are going to find much of a huge use for this one in their rotation when they run, because unless they like a really firm ride, unless they want something that's really responsive and very close, snug, then this will be good. But no, it's just not for me anyway. And especially when I'm in the Timps now again, and these Timps here, I'm finding actually their traction is really good. Really good traction, really good grip. They're not as deep here as the King MTs, but that cushion underneath is amazing. And I think here, the 29mm cushion of the Quantic midsole, I think we're onto this sort of the Goldilocks of midsoles, because there's just enough cushion there for protection, for comfort. But as I said before, with the Quantic midsoles, you don't sit on top. You fit into it. Your foot molds nicely. I'm literally feeling it right now. The foot molds into the shoe, into the midsole. Therefore, then you can feel the ground much better, and you have a much better ground contact, ground connection, and a much more enjoyable ride. And if you can still get some cushion and some responsive cushion that's going to give you some energy return, as well as comfort and protection, that's it. So I think, yeah, 29mm in the Timp 2, the Quantic midsole is spot on. They've really managed to tick all the boxes there on that one. Huge fan. Going back to the Altra King MT, it's a shame and a surprise that I'm going to say anything negative about Altra shoes, because, as you know, I'm a huge fan, but not for me. It's just too hard, too firm, because I think it reminds me a little bit of the Saucony Paragon 10. It also had a very firm ride, and that's a great shoe. So maybe if you like the Saucony Paragon 10, you might like this one actually. But for me, no siree, Bob.